And now back to your regular programming.
If you speak better to yourself.
You showed up for probably the dumbest conversation we've ever had on this show.
Let's have that smile again.
Tell me how that happens. Physically should not happen.
Relax.
If you say it
Give me as well.
3 times a day, God will line it up.
He's just an absolute hack, and he gets his ass kicked by the teammates every week. It's just terrible.
Welcome back to Hack City. Joe DeLeone, Sean Anderson. Today we have so much to talk about from this past week of the NFL. We're going to get into the calamitous enterprise that was Bears versus Bengals. We're going to talk about the Colts finally losing a game when they were actually challenged. Packers drop a game to the Panthers. Bills versus Chiefs was awfully exciting. And then we're going to come back around for more Seahawks conversations. Sean, let's start with what happened between the Bears and the Bengals. 47-42. Who would have thought that this game would have produced such an exciting outcome between two teams in very weird directions at the current moment? In case you missed it, the Bengals orchestrated a 15-point comeback with an onside kick only for Colston Loveland with about, 25 seconds to go to rip a 58-yard touchdown and won the game. And the Bengals are now the first team to score 38-plus points in back-to-back games and lose both since the 1966 Giants. Giants mentioned. Not only, also on top of this, were the Bears 0-40 when giving up 42 points. They had lost 50 in a row when giving up over 30, dating back to 2013. This game was ridiculous. I know that there's a lot of people calling for the current state of the defense. RIP to Al Golden, who should have just stayed at Notre Dame instead of taking this whole piece of crap on. But this game really showed the direction of two completely different teams.
Yeah, I guess there's some moron that was talking a little bit of cheese about Colston Loveland, that he's going to have to eat some words. That was a big nuts play to win the game for the Bears. That moron is just going to have to acknowledge that, I guess, on his own show whenever he can. And
you don't have your own show.
I'm just saying. I'm
moron's
sure,
wearing a blue sweatshirt.
I'm sure that the moron is properly addressing the situation that Colston Loveland showed up for the first time this year.
Nothing.
He showed up. I'm just saying. I'm just speaking, in vagaries. This was a really exciting game. The Bears are still a slop fest. The Bengals are an ultra mega fucking slop fest that are just no clue what's going on with them. Is Joe Flacco good? Is Joe Flacco a Hall of Famer?
Did you know that was his best performance yardage wise of his career? He's never thrown for over 89 was his high, and he threw for 470.
Whatever,
I got no idea, man.
Whatever, man.
I got no idea.
2025 NFL is just doing whatever the hell it wants to do.
Yeah.
It was a fun game. I'm still pulling for Chicago. I think the NFC North is back. If the Bears can actually win games, make it a little more competitive with what we saw with Minnesota and Detroit yesterday, with what we saw from Green Bay, which is weird. We'll get to them. But the Bears being a little more competitive makes this a better division, and it makes it better for football because I guess it's a fun brand of football that they're playing. Is slot up, make a play. Kyle Monungai stepped up. Colston Loveland stepped up. I mean, my whole takeaway of this is that Tom Brady could probably still win 13 games a year if he was playing in the league. If I'm seeing Joe Flacco float around from team to team and keep on getting chances.
Wait, hold on. How about you just recognize the real, just elite play that Joe Flacco. Actually, here's the real take that you need to be having here. Remember back in 2013, 2014, the recurring bit was, is Joe Flacco elite?
Yeah.
I think now at the age of 40, he's elite.
No, he's not.
He's finally reached elite play.
He's not. He's not elite.
He's got his best receivers. He's playing at the best level that he's ever performed. How can you say a man who just threw for 470 yards? I don't know. I didn't actually have that. Of all the numbers that
470, yeah.
Are you really going to say a man who did that is not elite?
He ain't elite, Joe. He's not.
Why
you
were just glazing him? Why are you hating on him now?
I'm saying he gave us a fun game. The Bears defense is kind of shit too. The Bengals are awful. This was just a sloppy one, Joe. I'm not going to get gaslit into thinking that either of these teams is serious in any way,
Oh,
especially with Joe Flacco manning the helm in Cincinnati.
Hold on. I do think that the Bears deserve some flowers for the way that their offense is starting to play to their potential. But I just have to point this stat that I found out. The Bengals defense missed 15 tackles, allowing 133 yards after those missed tackles. And that includes the 35 of the 58 yards on Colston Loveland's game-winning touchdown with 25 seconds to go. There was one clip I also saw that was on X. That
app?
Are we going to do that? Shout out to D-Man, who completely mogged on you.
D-Man was on bad behavior.
He dogged your ass. What do you mean bad behavior?
D-Man's in my doghouse right now.
He dogged your ass.
D-Man knows better. And he thinks that he could just push me
around. You should know better not
D-Man,
to have a bad team that you root for.
I know. That's obviously my fault. That's obviously my fault.
Yeah, that's on you. D-Man dicked you down.
D-Man knows better, and he should know better, but D-Man is doing bad bits on the timeline. Doghouse.
I saw a clip on X of Shamar Stewart getting planted in a way that I didn't even know was possible in the NFL. Because normally, when you get planted in the NFL, it's usually after you've been driven back a little bit for a couple of seconds. This was a high school play where ball was snapped. I don't know if it was the right guard or the right tackle of the Bears.
Right.
And I think it was Darnell Wright.
You
know the play I'm talking about?
That clip.
He literally, Stewart doesn't even come off the ball. Right? Literally just picks him up and then drives him 7 yards laterally and then puts him into the ground.
Teach tape stuff.
That is a high school play.
He got transplanted where it's just immediately you are 6 yards somewhere else on your back looking up like what happened. And what happened? The big fella got underneath you. And you can't let a big fella like Darnell Wright get underneath you in that situation. God, the Bengals defense is bad. Oh my God, are they bad? 47 points? What's that meeting like in the NFL? That's got to be the biggest ass chewing that you could receive in the NFL. 47 points put up on your head.
Yeah, there's no surviving that. But before we get to the next game, though, we do have to give credit for the Bears for actually doing something offensively. I know that's not exactly a challenge to score on this Bengals defense, but the Bears had 576 yards, which is the most since 1980, when Chicago beat the Packers 61-7. And then Colston, Loveland, and Monangai had crazy games. Monangai had 26 carries for 176 yards. He had 123 yards coming after contact. So I think one thing's been proven. Kyle Monangai's got to get some more carries.
Yeah, for sure. He was, we've talked about Kyle Monangai on this show. I really like his open field. It's not evasiveness. It's not elusiveness. It's almost misdirection, like a magician's misdirection with the hands, where he gets a lot of moving parts going. Mm-hmm. And I think it confuses defenders. He's also a young back that's got some juice, and he runs hard as hell, which is what Chicago needs. They don't need a fancy back. They need a guy that just wants yards. And I think that's what Monangai wants. Helps the Bears tremendously. And I'm already starting to see some DeAndre Swift chatter about maybe he just lost his job in a trouncing of the Bengals.
He might have. I also will say it feels like you could have found your David Montgomery, and then this draft you could go get Jeremiah Love. That is the one marriage that I want to see. I want to see Jeremiah Love with Ben Johnson. I think that Jeremiah Love would be a 2,000-yard rusher, and then Monangai could be like a 7-touchdown, 600-yard guy playing off of him as the physical hard-nosed runner. That is the one marriage that I will continue to push. I don't want to see him go somewhere stupid. I don't want to see him go to the Panthers or something like that. That's just gonna he's not. No one's gonna see him.
They're gonna start losing games, man. Is this guy gonna be a top 10?
I don't
love top 10.
I think that he could be, but I think that naturally running backs are just not always going to be in that top discussion unless you do some crazy numbers like Genty did last year.
Maybe you trade Caleb and get Love, and then we go Tyson Bagent, and then we're going and really rolling in Chi-Town. Come on.
We have to collect on the Colts' performance against the Steelers. Look, there's been a lot I've noticed. There's been a lot of the NFL shows that I listen to. I respect their opinions, and it kind of helps me contextualize things that I didn't see and that I missed. But I noticed the reactions to this game were like, oh, it's just a real rough one for the Colts. They're going to be okay. Oh, Daniel Jones has been so good this season. But this one wasn't really his fault. Are we sure about that? Are we sure about that? This is what I have been trying to say on this show as a Giants fan. He did this already. He already did this with a premier running back next to him and a solid offensive line in front of him when he wasn't being pressured throughout the season. He was going to play solidly, and it was going to look better than you think it actually is working. And then said running back was going to carry the load and start to build a big narrative for how dominant they are. Everything was going to look great. But now Daniel Jones comes crashing down in their 27-20 loss.
Be happier about that.
Just like I predicted. I know it's one game, but I'm telling y'all right now, watch. This is going to continue. He completed 31 of 50 passing attempts for 342 yards in this game. He had 3 interceptions, but this is what is significant. He was pressured a season-high 18 times, and he completed only 6 of 13 attempts on those plays and had 2 of his interceptions. He also had 2 strip sacks, in which there were 5 sacks in this performance. He is not a good quarterback under pressure. And I think that every team that has faced the Colts up until this point simply just said, oh, it's Daniel Jones. What's the worst that could happen? And they didn't realize if you start shaking him, he doesn't know what to do.
Look, I've never seen you happier. I've never seen you happier.
They didn't. I hate him. I don't care. This is the most biased take.
I hope they bounce back and just go on a tear and win it all. Well, you know what? They got a real tough one. Oh, they got the wussy Atlanta Falcons out in Germany next week. I'm sure they won't get right. Is that a get right game or what for Indy?
Is it?
It is. And it certainly is a
get right game for the Falcons.
No, it is not. Daniel Jones is going to throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. They are going to stomp them. Steelers look really good in this one. Aaron Rodgers overcoming the weird Aaron Rodgers pregame snap injury with Zach Frazier was confusing. It felt like that was a pregame omen that the Colts were just going to walk in and just torch Pittsburgh. They didn't. The defense showed up. I know Pittsburgh fans have been really setting irresponsible narratives about TJ Watt and how the defense performs when he's on the field versus when he's not on the field. Guess what? He cracked open the game with one of those strip sacks and put the whole game away basically from quarter one with what he did. So yeah, the defense is better with TJ Watt on the field. He's one of the best defensive players in the league. Colts just slipped up a little bit. I think that they're just going to take this one on the chin.
You're doing this. You're doing exactly what I just let it say. They slipped up a little bit.
Yeah, they slipped up a little bit.
You're saying the
I
same
want this team to win it all.
That everybody else was saying today. Oh, it's just a bad one. They're gonna bounce back. They're just gonna you're just gonna have one bad game every so often. There were some reckless things that were said about this Colts team and Daniel Jones, and this is
people called him a possible MVP.
We're not talking about people saying, yeah, because you're dumb. We're not talking about a game in which he had a pick or even 2 picks. He was stripped twice and had 3 interceptions, Sean.
This is a first for everything for Daniel Jones, man. You know,
this isn't a first for everything. This is my point. He did it the entire time that he was in New York. But nobody wanted to pay attention to it. Nobody. I was the only one who was saying that he was shit the whole time he was in New York, and all Giants fans were wanting to, give him time. And now they think that the start of the season is evidence that it wasn't Daniel Jones's fault. It was.
Okay.
I blame him for the state of the team.
Right now?
Yeah. It's not Brian Daboll. It's him.
Wow. So
him.
Okay, so you're officially keep Daboll forever.
No.
Wait.
I am officially.
Hold on, so what are we here?
Officially. I am the number one person on the anti-Daniel Jones train.
Okay.
That's what I'm official on.
I am the number one person on the let's get this guy a ring train, and I think dude, I'm telling you, I don't know. Dude, there's space on this bandwagon for you to just jump right on. You can. Why not?
I was the first person on. We've been over this before. I was the first person on the Daniel Jones bandwagon, and then he collapsed and he started playing like total butt cheeks, and then I felt betrayed. I felt immediately betrayed by his regression.
Well, let's at least acknowledge that this is the first Daniel Jones stink fest of the season for Indianapolis, and that we haven't seen whether or not he has matured enough to rally back and be better next
I
week.
don't think he's the capacity, but it's not a matter of maturity, it's capacity.
Okay, let's see if he's developed the capacity to rally back for the next week, or if this is where he starts the regular Daniel Jones era of really unfortunate quarterbacking, which I've seen.
You're being too nice.
I'm not.
When have you been this nice?
I look. I'm not trying to be nice. I just found Indy to be a fun team that I started really rooting for, and that I want to make some noise because I thought that the AFC South was going to be wide open for Houston. They've been messing around. Indy wanted to win games, and they're winning games. So I wanted to take that team seriously. I hope they're taking themselves seriously as well. Take down the Bills and the Chiefs next. Get rolling. Get ready. Jonathan Taylor, 30 touchdowns this year. I'm ready for it. Get him in the end zone.
Look, I like Jonathan
Get
Taylor.
him in the end zone.
I've got no problems with Jonathan Taylor. I think Jonathan Taylor is a great player, and I was very quick to point out that I thought he was not getting all of the credit like he should have been. I believe, where's Jonathan? Oh, Jonathan Taylor kind of slid in the odds for MVP. We're on FanDuel. He's at plus 3,500 right now. He's dropped a little bit behind. Jalen Hurts, of all people, is at 2,200. I don't know. Maybe I'd put a little. I'm
not betting on Jalen. I tell you
No,
what.
I'm saying a little bread on Jonathan Taylor to maybe bounce back with odds that good. But at the same time, you got to have a prolific season to win it as a running back. I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening.
He's pacing for prolific.
He was pacing for prolific. The Packers have no idea what direction that they're pacing in. I don't understand what this Packers team is because they'll put out insane performances on national settings when they're on Sunday Night Football or they're on Thursday Night Football. They'll have these crazy games where everyone's watching and everyone's like, whoa, Jordan Love's unbelievable. Whole offense is unbelievable. Tucker Kraft goes out of this game against the Panthers. Seems like he's going to be, actually not seems, he's done for the season in their 16-13 loss. Here's something crazy. You would think with Jordan Love and Bryce Young dueling in a game like this, that Jordan Love would be the driving force for the success of either team. This is a wild stat that I don't think enough people realize. Bryce Young led the Panthers on his 9th career game-winning drive in the victory. Young's 9 game-winning drives since the start of the 2023 season are tied for the most in the NFL in such span. How did that even happen?
It's a demon.
Have they won that many games?
I know. I think every game that they've won has had to have been a comeback, a fourth quarter late comeback. That guy, Bryce Young, was smiling on the sidelines with 2 minutes left when it was 13-13 and he got the ball back. Ear to ear. He knew he was going to go do it to them boys, and he went and did it to them boys. The Green Bay Packers are, you're right, they're confusing. They have games where the team is good. Like, let's all just at least acknowledge right now, baseline table set. The Green Bay Packers roster is one of the best in football.
Inconsistent.
Yes. Jordan Love will just wake up some Sundays and he can't get comfortable in the pocket. Doesn't matter if he's got a lot of time. Doesn't matter if he has no time in the pocket. He can't get comfortable. And I'm not going to sit here and say Derek Brown was the key contributing factor to why he couldn't get comfortable. He had himself a day, but it's 1D tackle. All right. Jordan Love, his inconsistency week to week to be able to sit back there, build off a prior week, and get into a game is concerning for me. He just starts chucking. When he doesn't get comfortable and he can't get the offense moving, he just starts throwing that thing all over the field. That is not the operation that you need. They need to tighten it up a little bit for him. I just don't know. I don't know how much stock I'm putting into this Jordan Love guy when they're losing to the Panthers in this fashion. This is a team, because week prior, Panthers lost by 31 to Buffalo. Ugly, ugly loss. They got stomped out. Buffalo, one of the premier organizations in the NFL. They beat the Packers a week later. Packers played down. This is a rough season for them.
Yeah.
Played down to the Browns, played down to the Panthers. that's not a good offensive factor. A notable characteristic is if you can't just go out there and roll over the bad teams in the league. It's an issue for them.
Well, here's my thing with the Packers is you just kind of try to set the table. They're not a bad team. And I think at the very least, they're going to make the playoffs. Like, there's no world that they don't make the playoffs. And I think at the very least, they're proving that when there's a big game in front of them, they're stepping up to the plate. Now, it's going to be a lot more challenging without Tucker Kraft, which, God, that one really hurts. I spent the whole week talking about how I thought he was the best tight end in the NFL, and then now he's gone. He's such a big reason for their offense being as potent as it is because they've got a bunch of really solid receivers. But when you've got solid receivers and the best tight end in the NFL, your unit is incredibly dangerous. And now you're sitting in this weird spot where you've got to figure out, okay, who's our go-to guy? Who are we going to turn to? I don't think that a tight end is naturally the glue that holds everything together, but it might be one of those screws in the back of a chair that you're kind of like, why is this chair loose? Why can't I sit in this thing comfortably? Well, this is one of those. I'm sitting in one of those chairs. It's infuriating. Like, hey, why can't I get this chair to be tighter than it is? But it's constantly feels like it's about to fall apart. Is that the world that they now live in going forward? I feel like that's a fair question to ask.
They shouldn't be living in that world. Their next tight end was a former second round pick in Musgrave.
Yeah, but Musgrave, they were both taking the same draft. I think we both understand that Musgrave is the counterpunch to Kraft, and he's never really proven that he can be. Otherwise, he'd be getting the main share of targets.
Well, now it's his time to get the main share of targets and do something with it. He saw his counterpart go out there and absolutely take over. In the physical sense, it's time for him to get shifty with it. Good hands, tall, nice tight end, make some big time plays like that. That's the step up that they need. Additionally, Christian Watson's been playing a little bit better for them. Now that he's back from injury, I think that him as a deep threat is valuable. So
nothing happened there.
I
didn't have anything. You don't need to worry about it.
I gotcha. I caught it on the peripheral.
I didn't shit my pants, if anyone's wondering what I'm talking about.
Additionally, unfortunately, even if Tucker Kraft was still healthy, hadn't torn his ACL, after this week, the best tight end in football medal is off of him and on to Brock Bowers, unfortunately. Bowers is back. He's the best tight end in football. I'm sorry. I know yeah. Just a week ago, 2 weeks ago, we were talking about it was Kraft. It was. It really was. And then Bowers showed everyone that he really is the best in the league. The Packers have the talent. They need to stop dicking around with the bad teams. Why? It is the question that is getting asked all across Wisconsin and the Packers universe is why? Because when the NFL fails to bring any type of sense, then that's when people spiral, because it makes no sense to have the Packers losing to the Panthers. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't. And I'm sure that there's going to be some sort of reconciliation that comes with this. There's going to be some footing to be regained, but we'll have to see what happens with the Packers and their offense. They can't win if they're going to score 13 points, especially with how explosive they're supposed to be, and they've shown that they've been. Hopefully Kraft doesn't derail things as much as we're kind of talking about here. Bills versus Chiefs was incredibly exciting. Bills outlasted the Chiefs 28-21. They now have won their last 5 regular season games against Kansas City. The Bills in this game, which makes this feat so more impressive, and I think does truly make the case for Josh Allen to win MVP. They were down 3 of their top 4 defensive tackles with Ed Oliver, Daquan Jones, and TJ Sanders. They also did not have 2 members of their starting secondary at the beginning of the year. Wait, I misread that. They were without a number of players on their defense, and they were extremely hamstrung with what they could have done in this game. Despite that, and also despite getting very little wide receiver production and a problem that continues to mount, they managed to hold off Kansas City. One thing that was really impressive in the way that they approached their defense in this game, they held Patrick Mahomes to the lowest completion percentage of his career, 44%. It's the first time that he's ever been under 50%. I think that as Josh Allen continues to do this, he makes the case for the guy that literally finds ways to drag his teams to stay relevant. He's one of those dudes that you can't argue that even when everything is going awry around him, he is the elevator. He is the true elevator in the room. And we used to say that about Mahomes so confidently that, hey, when everything's not really working and there's no Tyreek, there's no Travis Kelce, whoever might not be out there, Mahomes is still going to find a way to help his team win. And now that is what Josh Allen has turned into, he clearly is the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, and they cheesed it a little bit on Sunday, didn't they? Couple tush pushes right at the one to get him in and just score. That was, I think, a bit of a middle finger to Kansas City, saying, look, you guys obviously have issues when the Eagles do this to you. We're going to give it to you also. I thought that was brilliant, kind of jerky play calling from Buffalo. And they won. I don't know. They can get past Kansas City in the regular season. That's great. I'm not seeing a lot of Buffalo Bills Super Bowl 2025 discourse because this is a regular season game against the Chiefs. It's not their postseason game against the Chiefs, which will be even better, even more exciting. If this one played out the same way, everyone would lose their minds. It's really, really a fun team in Buffalo. Thank the Lord these two teams still show up to play one another. And it's not just an inconsistent, don't know who the best teams in the league are. Oh, it was a blowout. No, give me more one-score games between these squads. Let me see Patrick Mahomes have to make something happen. Kansas City needs a back. Kansas City needs a running back badly. Rashard Smith, 3 for 7. No. Kareem Hunt, goal line merchant. That's all he's doing. They need a running back bad. Make a play at the deadline or something. Trade for Derrick Henry. Trade for anybody in the backfield. They could be a Super Bowl champion if they get a running back. Also, I've kind of been seeing this trend with the Chiefs. I mean, we've been talking about Kelce being down this year and him just kind of being old and a dog that kind of needs to be put out the pasture and just you can't say that. I think he's just about maxing out. You should never be a little betting advice here. You should never be betting on Kelce more than 4 catches. He's just getting 4 catches a game. If it's 4 for 30, it's 4 for 30. This game, it was 4 for 66. That's what he's maxing out at. Games against Buffalo, it used to be the Travis Kelce show. 12 catches, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. Right when you needed him most, they could turn to him. It's not that team anymore. It's not that offense anymore. Buffalo has the advantage, I think, in just about all fronts, maybe except for the defensive backfields. Maybe Kansas City still has the edge there, even though Hairston is coming along nicely in Buffalo.
Yeah, him coming back is huge for Buffalo, but I think to also just add what you just said with how Kansas City's currently struggling offensively and they've been inconsistent. They've absolutely rebounded since the beginning of the year, and they've shown a lot more of a stride and more of a path to them clearly reaching the playoffs and everything going their favor, everything going back to what it normally was. Them not having explosiveness at running back, I think, is a serious problem. Like, we need to stop acting like what their room is currently built with is enough to get the job done. They got to move for somebody at the deadline. There's got to be somebody, and I don't know if it's Derrick Henry. I would actually think that someone like Breece Hall would be perfect for a team
awesome.
like this.
Get A-Chain. Pull A-Chain out of Miami. Could you?
You think that they would part with him?
They're part
he's
with
all they have.
Dude,
he's all they got.
I thought Jalen Phillips was all they got, and now he's in Philly.
Which, yeah, we're not really doing any trade deadline stuff because there's going to be a lot of moves over the next couple of days. We'll probably just do a succinct who had the best moves of the trade deadline. But if they could pull Devon Achane, that would be – he would essentially be Tyreek for them. I don't even know if you would bring him in and to play running back purely. I would just bring him in and just to torment people.
It'd be incredible. It'd be the best offense in the NFL. Him, Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Rasheed. That'd be an awesome, awesome offense to watch. How caught up are you on the Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet memes that are circulating in Seattle?
I've been watching them.
Get Kenneth Walker in a place where they'll let him score. All right, get Charbonnet in. Yeah. Get Kenneth Walker somewhere else. I know they won't. That's as hopeless of a pitch as there could be.
When you have a dump truck, by the way, of course you're going to ram into the end zone with the dump truck.
Yeah.
Charbonnet can't do anything else.
That pisses people off, though.
Who cares?
You know how many texts I get every time Tyler Algier scores? Like, why is this fat?
That's different. Kenneth Walker's not Bijan. He's not as good as Bijan. Bijan deserves every touch.
I know he does.
Kenneth Walker's not Bijan.
Kenneth Walker, they could at least get my boy in once in a while. That'd be nice.
He's got to do it from 50 yards out. Otherwise, they're giving to big boy Tyler Algier. Dude, I'm all fired up with how the Seahawks are looking at the current moment. 38-14 win over the Commanders. This was one of those games where I was wrapping up Rufino and Joe last night, and I just kind of look up and I'm like, oh, great. Am I going to even try watching this game? I watched parts of it. I watched it, and then I kind of went back and reevaluated after the fact. This was just such a brutal thumping against a team that was supposed to be competitive this year. We'll talk about the Commanders in a little bit in their current state. Sam Darnold had another prolific performance, 21 of 24 for 330 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick in this game. He completed 8 of 9 passes for 191 yards on all four of his touchdowns on downfield passes, which is 10 plus air yards. That means he's attacking downfield. There is no just simple check down, dump off, screen merchanting happening in this situation. The one thing that's been really fascinating, I've been tracking on X, is people talking about how Kubiak, the offensive coordinator, has been doing this really unique approach to personnel groupings that opposing teams are completely misjudging how they're defending it. And what I mean by that is they're running a lot of multi-tight end personnel groupings. Naturally, defensive coordinator, he's thinking, oh, they're trying to run us over.
Yep.
We're going to come out. We're going to put our base in. We're going to get ready for the run. And they've been taking really aggressive deep shots out of these 2 tight end sets that nobody has the personnel equipped to keep up with them. I don't know how we've made it this far into the season and nobody's noticed that. Like a defensive coordinator hasn't been like, hey, we should just keep our dime personnel in. And if we can't stop the run, we can't stop the run. I'd rather lose by giving up 5 or so yards on a couple of carries here and there, and then maybe kind of slowly working their way down the field instead of getting gashed by JSN because he's cooking you deep out of these sets.
The NFL is so funny, man. Yeah, 12 personnel, 13 personnel is all the way back, and you need like a Kamal Ishmael hybrid linebacker safety to be permanently in the game. I think genuinely with the rise of 12 and 13 personnel, all these high tight end sets, I'll bring it back to Atlanta briefly just for an example. They signed Devon Diablo, a linebacker from Oakland, who is phenomenal in coverage, not as good in the run game, but he had been tearing it up before his injury. That's because he could cover and stay in the box. If there was a tight end that wanted to get behind him, he could have recovery speed for it. But your big, normal, hulking linebacker who like Seattle faced yesterday, Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner, open up the seams, fellas. Yeah. This is a highway. This is a highway to the end zone. Oh, they were licking their chops against that defense. Oh, what a performance from Seattle. Darnold looks awesome. I love that they're pushing it vertically and they're getting everyone involved. The Christian Arroyo ball was spectacular. And then he's just putting it
Elijah
down.
Arroyo.
Elijah Arroyo. Who was Christian Arroyo? Who am I thinking of?
You
there?
just made a dude up.
I know. Maybe I went to high school with the Christian Arroyo. I think I did. Yeah, sorry.
Made a dude up. This dude's losing it. Elijah Arroyo, that play was fantastic, and it was one of those ones where you see maybe in the next couple of years as he develops, it's like, oh my God, they really have the perfect personnel to run what they're trying to run. And Darnold is thriving in this system because everything is just working around him.
How about they just find another Tyler Lockett and Torrey Horton that just is an everything wide receiver that can get shifty, finds the end zone. It's just a really fun offense. Yeah. The Seahawks are legit. And here's what I'll say. It's so much less annoying watching them play in those throwbacks than it would be in their regular uniforms. They're more endearing.
Dude, they gotta
in those jerseys.
They got to keep those.
They looked so good last night. The offense was spectacular. The defense is good. And the Darnold evolution, he's not just throw it up to Jettas anymore. Like it's watch me operate this offense. And
he's navigating pressure really well too. There's a lot of plays where you're watching him step up and maneuver and not have a natural base, and he's just whipping it. This is not some dorky, goofy, Sam Darnold's doing awfully great. Yeah. Here's the thing. The first reclamation project was Jared Goff, and Jared Goff has been great. But I would argue that whenever things start to kind of constrict and they don't go well, Jared Goff tends to struggle a little bit. When things aren't flowing effectively, he hasn't exactly been the type of guy to be a team elevator when the run game's not there, or some of his top receivers are out. Sam Darnold is the realest reclamation project because when he got drafted, he's actually playing to what everybody projected on him. Hey, this is a guy who could be a top quarterback in the NFL, who's got a natural arm and just makes plays.
Dotting.
I love watching him play, dude.
If I'm a quarterback and I had a shit stop with the team that drafted me, I'm going to San Francisco for free. I would defer contracts to other bad teams and just say, let me in the building. I don't care. Don't have me on the active roster. Make me a quote unquote analyst. Let me learn. Let me learn in San Fran. And then he gets to go put it into action in Minnesota a little bit. Now he's in Seattle. It's still carried over. 3 teams, 3 years. You don't see that kind of replicated success with so much change. But he got something figured out in San Fran. He got whatever his quarterback identity was, they solved it and figured it out. Why is Mac Jones playing so well in San Fran? Why is Brock Purdy a guy that's getting paid so much money? It's the only place you should go if you're a quarterback that needs to learn how to be an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen with Mac Jones this offseason? I wonder if anyone's going to just completely throw a whole wad at him. I wonder if somebody's going to give him the Baker
him
contract.
And Purdy should just split the wad. Hey, you two both have a dream job here. You split it down the middle, and then we'll let Purdy start. If he goes down, we have Mac.
Who actually would be the total team to do this and completely bungle this? The Raiders. The Raiders would totally offer him a big,
you just hurt my stomach, actually.
Huge contract. And it's we got our guy. And they pass on the 5th overall pick, and they take Arvell Reese or something along those lines. The total defensive weapon that Pete Carroll needed.
Dude, I'm not liking this team building.
Because that wouldn't work for Mac. That's not a good situation for Mac. Mac needs the Sam Darnold where team's already got a star receiver and you got a couple other weapons and a solid improving offensive line. I don't know what team that is, though, that's a quarterback away. Who is that right now?
Quarterback away. Cincy, but I guess they got their guy. Yeah, I wouldn't say Arizona's a quarterback away. They got some issues.
I know that we're kind of going off tangent from talking about this game. They're really the only team that kind of fits that description is the Raiders, but they're not really a quarterback away. They might trick themselves into thinking.
Are the Jets a quarterback away? God, I swear to God, I feel like they are, but they're not.
No, they're
bad.
They're a team that's in the bucket of you've got. Actually, here's an interesting one. Here's an interesting one that I would actually legitimately do. Him to the Steelers.
Oh yeah,
he would be
Steelers
Arthur Smith led Mac Jones. Being all fat in Pittsburgh.
No. Actually, I'm not liking it now. Somehow, Aaron Rodgers.
We need fat Mac Jones back, by the way, fully, if we want his full.
Fat Mac Jones. Mac Jones is kind of tall, right?
No, he's 6'2".
6'2". Oh man, I kind of wanted to run around like Big Ben there.
6'3", 220.
Yeah.
But I remember when he was real dumpy. I remember he was big dumpy.
Got that good text, by the way, during the show.
What, the good? Oh, the right. The text we talked about pre-show.
Yeah, just give you a heads up. Got that good text.
The test was negative.
Happy about that. You're a bad person. You are as bad of a person.
Rack says Saints. I don't.
Actually, the Saints are not a quarterback.
They're not a quarterback away.
They're not a quarterback away.
But Kellen Moore would talk himself into saying that. Hey, we got to go get Mac Jones. Let's I just want to get back to talking about the Seahawks. By the way, here's my argument. I think the Seahawks have the most legit resume out of any team in the NFL currently, because it feels like every single week we've kind of gone, well, this team's the best team. Well, that team's the best team, with exception of the Bills, because the Bills are in their own little category.
Yep.
Last week we tried to do it with the Lions, and they lost this week to the Vikings. We tried to do it with the Colts. They lose to the Steelers, and most of their wins are against bottom-feeding teams.
Pats ain't played nobody either.
Pats haven't played anybody either. Their 2 losses have come against the 49ers, which are a top team in their division and could very likely be vying for a spot in the NFC wild card. And on top of this, their other loss came to the Buccaneers, which are probably going to win the NFC
in a
South.
Tremendous game also.
They have notched wins against a good Commanders team, against the Jaguars, against the Steelers early on. Houston before CJ Stroud got obliterated yesterday. I don't know. I think that they've really strung together an incredibly underrated resume, as well as some losses that would really help them get into the college football playoff. They're not playing in the SEC. But again, to my point, though, I feel like that they've got one of the we don't talk resumes for the NFL. It's
Right.
one of the things that I find very odd when we're trying to evaluate who's good, who's actually good, who's really overrated. Nobody ever brings up resumes. We spend every second just wrenching the neck of everyone who's like, you said who's good?
Yeah.
They played
It's fun.
this
It's
many
fun to
ranked
get like that.
teams.
Yeah.
There's
Look
no
how your
ra-
face is getting red. That's how you know you're alive.
Can we start ranking teams? Like, can we start like, can we create a weekly top 10? Can the AP do that? Can
You
we
want
get
to do the NFL
playoff
CFP?
committee?
Oh my
the
God.
NFL playoff committee?
Don't give them any ideas. You know why? Because that's going
Yeah.
to give them another show that they can put on. The CFP show. Do we have a CFP show this week?
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a TV show that everyone gets to watch. So the NFL. Oh my God, that show would do numbers, Joe. Here, while we're on Seahawks schedule, they still have 2 games against the Rams. That is
going to be the
going
the
to be
litmus test.
insane football watching TV.
Mm.
In 2 weeks, they play at 4:05. Make that Sunday Night Football, and then I think at their last game of the year, or third to last, they play it at 8:15 prime Thursday night against the Rams. Make that Sunday night also. You put flex them both into prime time. I need these matchups more than I need anything else. We already got Philly Chiefs. We already got Bills Chiefs. We already had a great Bucs game. Have the Lions given us a good one this year? I think they have. Give me Rams Seahawks and put it in a syringe and let
Wait,
me
are they the
put it in
final
my
week?
next-
They're the final game of the season?
No, third to last week of the season.
Who's
'cause
their last game of the season?
49ers, but that's TBD. The last 2 games are
No,
TBD.
that's a real shame that we're not getting that. One quick thing on the Commanders, by the way, dude, that had to have been one of the most gruesome injuries that I've seen
Nasty.
suffered by like an upper body injury. Normally it's like a lower body, but to see his arm, Jaden Daniels' arm get pinned like that was tough. Here's the one thing that I'm going to say. I think Commanders actually 2 things I'm going to say. Commanders fans, if you don't have Jaden Daniels and he's done for the year, was there any declaration on his injury status?
Yeah, dislocated elbow. They're thinking he's not done for the year, but it's going to miss some games.
Dude, look, don't rush him back. I actually think it's probably one of the better things that you could have happen to you to have an early pick, because if you're in striking distance of the quarterback range of draft picks, it allows you to trade back, accumulate some picks, build the offensive lineup, get some youth on the defense. It sucks when you have a losing season, but when you've got your quarterback and you understand that what you've got to do and the job at hand, you are now in a very rare opportunity to pick early and then to bounce back. Like they could, if they nail their first round and their first 2 picks in the draft, they absolutely are ending up in a situation where they're going to stride towards being the best team in the NFC East. It's accomplishable. They just need a roster reset, and it kind of got unsustainable. The one thing with his injury, I don't want this to serve as like I told you so, because it's not. One of the fears that was brought up with Jaden Daniels was that he was very thin. He's very thin. And it feels like right now a lot of the injuries that he's sustaining are landing awkwardly and just being physically grinded down. I think he's going to be fine. He's going to be okay. I don't think he's going to be a kid who's got a long career filled with injuries, but I do think that this offseason, his focus needs to be adding 15 pounds.
He's got to get on that Lamar bulk plan. Lamar looks
Yeah.
like a completely different person than when he entered the league. And I think he took it seriously, and it's helped him. Get some bulk on, please. It would be good. Thank God it wasn't his throwing arm that the injury happened to. Just thank God for that. Nasty one. The NFL is this injury last night was a big reason why I think NFL is just king. Why it's so good. And in a blowout game in the fourth quarter, you could still have a coach and a team make a bad enough decision to have the universe of football against them and have a universal experience of why was he in the game. Doesn't matter how many coaches you got. Doesn't matter how many analysts you got. Some freak shit like this can happen on any play, and in a nonsense fashion where it's nothing on the line. That's why the NFL is so good, because you could have the season change for teams in one play on the field for no reason. It's unreal theater every time. Take the guy out of the game. Now, if they shut him down for the year, which would be fine with me, they're not going to be making noise in the NFC that it's too strong this year. You're not going to be able to battle back with Marcus Mariota not winning enough games. They're going to need a receiver. They're going to need help in the running back room. They need help at the linebacker position.
They got Bill. Respect Bill.
I know that they have Bill on roster. Bill don't get in the end zone. Bill is
they
not.
I mean, they got to get another guy. They could have a really good running back room if
the offensive line's good. Connerly, Cosme, they're both good. Tunsil's back. I still like Tunsil. I believe in Tunsil. They have a good offensive line. The defensive line needs an edge rusher. I know they lost Dorrance Armstrong, but we're done with Bobby Wagner. Jesus,
you good?
I don't know. I'm falling apart. We're done with Frankie Louvu. We're done with Marcus Lattimore, Marshawn Lattimore. We're done with Lattimore.
I'm a home stretch.
I know. Dude, put me down in a field with a No Country for Old Men blowgun. That's what I should be put. They're going to need to get young. I hope that they get an early draft pick, trade back, stock up, and then you're walking into camp with 10 rookies that could maybe, if you have 4, that could be impact starters for you. We're looking at a young, revitalized Washington team with a great quarterback, a good offensive line in an NFC where they can win a lot of games.
Yeah.
The path is there. And I called this path in the offseason. This was the last year that they were going to be old. The sophomore slump was going to happen because they put so much into some not great decisions like Debo, but they're going to get out of it. They're going to craft their way to a real, legit contending team. It wasn't going to happen this year. I knew it wasn't going to happen this year. People did. So now it's just kind of dead year. Get the most out of you can. Hopefully you get some guys that step up and can become real contributors next year that you wouldn't have to draft. And make you know what? Just make sure your team's clear. That's what I don't feel like a lot of teams do this when their season's done for, is doing the full eval. It feels like it's still rah, let's go win games. Like, no, rah, go play for your spot on the team next year, because there's a lot of dudes that want to play in this league. So go out there and show me something to keep you. That's Washington's mentality. That's what it should be. Greatness or nothing.
All right. We're going to get out of here. We'll talk to you guys later on in the week at Joe DeLeone, at Sanderson Radio, at Hack City Pod. Talk to you later.